You're listening to Female Founders with Claire Bartlett, the podcast that tells you what it is really like to be a female founder in today's world. We share invaluable insights through personal journeys and real-life business experiences, highlighting the highs and the lows so you can move forward in your business with ease. I am passionate to share with you the realities of business and give you the strategies and simple steps you need to truly succeed with your business. Today's episode is brought to you by Xero Accounting Software, a champion of female entrepreneurs and a proud sponsor of the Female Founders podcast. Managing your business finances can feel overwhelming, but Xero simplifies it all and gives you the power to keep your books in order and your mind on growth. Xero have offered an amazing 50% discount on your first 3 months with them. So if you'd like to take advantage of this amazing deal, just search refer.xero.com/female founders or follow the link in the show notes. Don't forget to give this show a follow to make sure you never miss an episode and share it with any incredible female founders you know. But for now, let's jump into this week's episode. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Female Founders podcast. I'm Claire Bartlett, your host, and today I'm really excited to be talking about events and how you can make such powerful connections by just stepping out of your comfort zone, stepping away from your desk, and attending business events. So, first off, I want to talk about the different types of events that are out there because I recently have been, I don't know whether you've seen on my socials, but I have been here, there, and everywhere at all different types of events. And it's really opened my eyes to actually the difference and the different experiences and what you can gain from the different types of business events. So, first off, there's the huge events where there are thousands of delegates. You know, it's a vibe, it's absolutely buzzing, it's noisy, it's chaotic. It's such a different energy of type of event, but there is such value in attending those sorts of events. Then you have the smaller events where they, although aren't intimate, they're, much smaller than those type of huge delegate events where there's maybe 100 to 200 people there. They tend to have a lot of guest expert slots. It's a lot easier to make connections at that type of event, but it's still huge. You can still get lost and feel quite lonely in a space that big. And then you have the much smaller intimate events where there's potentially, less than 100 people, 30, 50, 70 people there. And these, I feel, you probably gain the most value from because you likely throughout the day have the opportunity to speak to every single person in that room and introduce yourself, and actually then make those connections. So those can be really powerful events. It can really depend on you as a person as well, what type of event that you feel comfortable attending. So although I don't seem it, and I know most people don't ever believe me when I say it, but I really am a proper introvert. And those big events that I was talking about with thousands of delegates, they can be really overwhelming for me. And quite often I find that I have to actually step away from them and give myself an hour just to sort of quieten my mind and realign myself really and just take a breath before going back in because they are so energetic. They are non-stop and they, don't get me wrong, are amazing. And I absolutely love the events of that size that I go to throughout the year. But I do find them exhausting and it takes me a little while to recover from them afterwards. Whereas the smaller events, those very intimate events, they feel so much more calmer and safer space, I feel. So, especially if you are attending events on your own, those are a really great place to start because they are much more welcoming. There tends to be a lot of other people there that are on their own. So, it's much easier to eke out people that are looking a bit lost, the same as you, and start building those connections. And then the delegates where there's 100 to 200 people, you can gain a lot from them. They're a lot less overwhelming, but for an introvert or somebody that has anxiety, they can still feel a little bit overwhelming. So those are the three main areas of events. I want to talk to you through today how I tackle events and how I make sure that I get the absolute most amount of value out of each type of event that I go to. And really, the main thing I do is I go in with a strategy. I don't turn up at the event and just wing it and see what takes my fancy and where I end up, because I used to do that and I found that at the end of the day, I hadn't actually really achieved anything. I just wandered around and maybe caught the end of one talk, or, I hadn't had any strategy that was really going to give me value. So now I really make sure that I sit down before the event, whatever size the event is, and I build a strategy. And I'm going to talk you through today how I do that. So, the first point is that I always go to events on my own, because this enforces me to push myself out of my comfort zone and talk to people. I feel like if I went to an event and I was there with a colleague or my best mate or, whoever, I would probably end up, because it's so comfortable, to just talk to that person all day. And then I wouldn't be pushing my boundaries and getting out of that comfort zone and making those connections, which are so valuable to your business. So I would really recommend, if you feel that you could, attend these events on your own. And this is why I said, starting out on those smaller events and working up through them as your confidence grows is a great strategy to get you to those bigger events. I attended Ideas Fest a couple of weeks ago, which, if you haven't heard of it, is a huge festival for entrepreneurs. It was my first time going. I haven't been to a festival in years. I'm 40 now. The thought of wearing wellies in a muddy field was not for me. But looking at the pictures and the guest experts that they had, like, it just seemed like such an amazing opportunity. So I booked a 2-day ticket. I got on the train, off I went, completely on my own. I had no plans to meet anybody. There was a few people, when you make connections with people online, but you've never actually spoken to them off that platform, you've never met them in person. There was a few people there that were like that, but I had no physical plans to meet any of them when I got to the event. And if I go back like 5 years ago, this whole scenario that I'm painting for you now would have absolutely terrified me. Like, I'm going to a new place on my own with no plans of meeting anybody. That can feel and sound really daunting to somebody. But you have to understand that I've built up to that through years of gradually increasing the size of event that I was going to on my own, or the length of time of the event that I was going on my own, or the distance. An event that's just down the road from your house where you can just retreat back home at any point feels a lot less daunting than traveling for 2 hours on a train. So you have to build yourself up to these, however, whatever steps you're going to need to build that confidence for yourself. But what happened when I got there is, like I said, it forced me to speak to people. So the first thing I did is I got into the queue to get a coffee, and I spoke to the people in the queue in front of me. I spoke to the people in the queue behind me, and I actually made a really incredible connection with somebody whose business perfectly aligns with what I do. We had a great conversation. The queue was quite long, so we had the time to do that. And we connected on LinkedIn, and we've since already had a Zoom, and we're going to work together. Literally, just by getting in that queue and buying my coffee, but actually just opening up the conversation to the people around me, brought me business instantly in the first 20 minutes of being at that event. I knew the purpose of what I was going for, and what the conversations, every conversation that I opened up, what I would be considering the opportunities in that conversation for. So I have an event that I'm hosting in December, and we are currently building the sponsorship for that event. We're looking for delegates, we're looking for people to donate to the goodie bags. So I attended this event with all of this in my mind, and I was looking for specifically connections that would benefit some way or be able to collaborate in some way for that event. But that doesn't, when I say this, I don't choose who I speak to. I don't look around the room and think, oh, they look like they might have a business that would suit the event. I open myself up to conversations with everybody. And then in those conversations, sometimes I will find a mutual sort of link or a connection that I will then be able to lead to tell them about the event. But other people, I might just have a great discussion with them, learn loads about them, connect with them on social media, and then potentially 2, 3, 5 years down the line, that connection might be fruitful. And I might think, oh, I met that person and they would be great for whatever situation I'm in at that point in my life. People get really hung up very quickly about an instant return on investment. I want to make money that day at that event. And I'm telling you now, I'm sorry to break it to you, but that is not how it works. And if you are going into any event or any situation with that in mind, you will be disappointed because it's not about the instant gratification. It's about the labor of love and building that armor around you, building that, group of cheerleaders and that army that are there for you throughout your entrepreneurial journey, because you never know when that connection might be able to support you, you might be able to support them, and it becomes a really beautiful thing. But if you've gone in instantly looking for money and a sale, then your attitude would be different. They would pick up on it and that would just close down that connection. So I went in with this very clear plan. These are the three areas of things that I'm working on in my business currently. And these are what I'm looking for solutions for. So I was looking for businesses that fit what I was doing really nicely, that potentially would be interested in that collaboration or that sponsorship. I was looking for products that were, they had a little sort of market area at the event. So I was looking at all the products that were there. Do any of these fit into the clientele that I'll be having at the event? Would they make great additions to the goodie bags? But then also it's making sure that I spoke to every vendor there and again built that connection with them, opened up that communication. And this is where, again, it's really important to not be too self centered. I never go into a conversation with like, "Oh, hi, I'm Claire and I own Female Founders and this is what I do." I go in and say, "Oh, hi, I'm Claire. What's your name? What do you do? Why do you do that? That's so interesting. Tell me more about that." I make sure that they are talking to me. I'm asking the questions because I'm genuinely interested in who they are, what they do, and why they do it. And in return, at some point, potentially in that conversation, they will then return those questions and I'll be able to explain who I am and what I do. But if they don't return those questions, it's no biggie. We've still built that connection. I will be standing out really highly in their mind because I've asked them those questions and I've shown a genuine interest in them. I always make sure that I connect with everybody online on social media. And then if they hadn't returned those questions or we didn't get to that point in the conversation, that gives me the opportunity after the event to reach out to them and say, "Hey, it was so great learning about your business. I'd love to, book in another call with you or a Zoom, find out more and maybe tell you a bit about what I'm up to." So it's left that communication, that channel open for future potential collaboration. As you're working through these events, another thing that I see people do so often is they don't look at the schedule of sessions and they don't plan what sessions are actually going to be giving me the most value at my point in my journey. This is so important because realistically, these events can cost a lot of money. And if you are there, you want to be making sure that you are taking away as much possible value as you can. And the only way you're going to do that is by tailoring the information that you receive on that day. So if you are amazing on Instagram and you're, smashing it, you don't need any advice in that area at all. Why would you waste your time going to a talk about Instagram when there's another talk about building a marketing strategy or exit plans for your business, whatever the other sessions are, and they would be much more useful to you at your current point in your business or in a near future part of your business. So make sure that you look before the event and make a plan of where you want to be at what time, what stage. I always make sure that I do this on the train on the way there. I find it's a really easy time for me. It's quiet time. I don't take any phone calls when I'm on the train because I'd hate to be that person that, is rabbiting on the phone and everyone else is just trying to chill out. So I have an hour, 2 hours, however long the event is, away from me to build this strategy and build this plan for the day. When I'm going to those slightly smaller events where there's like, that 100 to 200 people, I do this slightly differently. I still go in with a game plan and a thought process. This is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. how can I gain the most from this event to help me with these things? But usually, when the events are that small, the talks and the sessions are much more tailored to a certain idea or a subject. So it tends to be, it might be a sales strategy day or something along those lines. And I've gone because I'm genuinely interested in that topic, that extra value and support that I could gain on that area in my business. So you have to change your game plan because you don't have the freedom usually of walking around and introducing yourself to loads of people. I want to get the value of the talks. That's why I'm at these types of events. But then there's always opportunities, when you have your coffee breaks or you have your lunch, just the people that are sitting next to you, there's always opportunities to still open up communication, open up those conversations and just learn about the other people in the room. You don't know, you might have your absolute ideal client sitting right next to you. But unless you introduce yourself and just have a natural, organic conversation, you might never know. You still have to go in with a mindset though and some form of strategy because otherwise again you're just winging it, you're just potentially wasting that entire day. And I am a busy person, right? I have two businesses to run, a household to run, a child to raise, a husband to keep happy. I cannot afford to waste time out of the office. So when I'm going to these events, no matter what size of event it is, I'm making sure I am gaining as much possible value as I can from it. But like I said, I never think about it from a monetary point of view because that doesn't ever work. It doesn't um, come out the way you would like. And then you just feel disappointed and that you've wasted your time. The smaller events where there's, 30 to 40 people, well, instantly, when it's a room that size, you are going to have the opportunity to speak to every single person in that room, which is an incredibly powerful way to spend your day, especially if you know that the type of guests, the event is aimed for are your ideal clients. It's an amazing opportunity. And those people, you don't know what their situation is, whether they can work with you, work for you, you can work for them, what type of collaboration and opportunities might come from that room. I have some incredible friends who I love to call friends now that are connections that I've made from events in the past. And they're some of my biggest cheerleaders now. They always find opportunities for me. They are always singing my praises and they've become my sales team in essence. They are out there telling the world constantly about what it is that I'm doing, the mission that I'm on, and looking for potential collaborations and opportunities for me. And I love that. But I would never have had that if I didn't push myself out my comfort zone and attend these events on my own. Finally, I would say the last type of event is networking events. And these, I think, need a different mindset again. And they're in a different category, really. They're still an event, but they're very different to one of those more structured strategy days or conference and events that I've been talking about. One of the biggest faux pas I see, and I will repeat this till the day I die, is that people go into these networking events expecting to find a direct sale or to book on a client at these events. It does not happen. Okay. Never think that you're going to get an instant sale on the day. And if you do, absolutely amazing, but it is an absolute one off. And you cannot expect that every time you go to a networking event. What you can expect at a networking event, though, is incredible collaboration opportunities, great connections, and building that army around you, like I said. There's also really quite often powerful opportunities to speak to the entire room, whether it's your 60-second pitch or however that networking event works. But that's an immense opportunity for you to nail a very short, very quick insight into you and your personal brand and your business brand. What you stand for, what you do, how you do it, why you do it, and who you'd like to help with it. So that's really important to have that strategy. Know, be prepared and know what you would say. I would also say, and this goes across any event that I've spoken about and anywhere and anything that you might be doing for your business, is to have that sort of, it's not even an elevator pitch, like just a very quick 10-20 second intro into who you are and what you do. And if you can nail that, get it to a really powerful sentence or two, then use that in whatever situation that you are in. Because if you say it enough times and enough spaces, you will become known for it. You will be, oh, yeah, she's the girl that's helping female founders build clarity and confidence. People will know you for it. And that is a really powerful thing. So nail that intro, who you are and what you do, and then work that room. But again, don't go in with being really brash. Oh, yeah, I'm Claire and I want to help all female founders. So, this is what I do. Do you know anyone that could benefit from that? Yeah, I want to sell this course or sell this event. Everybody will close off if you do that. People can close off really quickly. So back in the day when I used to network for my bookkeeping and accounting practice, if I said, oh, hi, I'm Claire and I'm a bookkeeper, if people would just close off, they'd think, "Oh, well, I don't need a bookkeeper in my business. I've got an accountant, or I do it myself, or my husband or my wife does it," and that's that comes in their mind. They might pretend to still be listening. In their mind, they've closed that communication down. But if I start with, "Oh, yeah, hi, I'm Claire, and I help really busy business owners get a better handle on their business again and feel more in control." Well, I would say a lot of business owners would be like, "Oh god, yeah, I could really do with that. I feel a bit overwhelmed at the minute. I'd love to know how she can help me feel more in control." And then that conversation is actually opening up instead of closing down on me. They'll ask more questions and then you'll be able to go into more detail. So it's really interesting way to frame what you do. Don't lead with the what you do, but lead with the how or the why. Get that emotion attached to it first of all, and then you can say, well, I do that by offering bookkeeping services. But yeah, the last thing I would say about networking events is I'm really sorry to say, guys, but business cards are dead. Okay. If you give me a business card, it might make it home in my handbag, but the next time I have a clear out in my handbag, it's going in the bin. Nobody wants a drawer full of business cards, no matter how amazing the business cards are. And I see some really gorgeous business cards. It's so much easier and instant if you can open up your QR code on your LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever social media, and be like, oh, here you go. Yeah, connect with me on here. And by doing that, instantly, they're in your audience forevermore. So you've made that connection instantly. They will see all of your previous content. They'll see all of your future content. They will be able to get a much easier feeling and understanding of who you are and what you stand for. And they're there then forevermore, like I said. But instead of having that dusty business card that you might have given them and then they shove in a drawer and they'll forget all about you and you'll never show up in their space again. So connecting online is the most powerful thing that you can do. Another really great thing is to just keep in mind, make sure that you can way of tracking who you've connected with that day. So then you can DM them and just send them a message. It was lovely to meet you today. Loved hearing about what you do. Feel free if you ever want to catch up or if you think I can help you in any way or you know anybody that might benefit my services. It's just opening up those line of communication. There's so many different size events and type of events. And I would always say to start small. If you are unsure, you're a bit nervous, you've never been to an event before, start with some of the smaller events and work your way up. Build that confidence. Get a feel for what these events are like because those bigger events, those few thousand people, they are overwhelming. They are hectic and manic and loud, but they are also amazing and you can have some of the most amazing value from them. But if you've never been to a business event before and you go to one of them as a first and you go on your own, oh my God, you could feel completely lost and overwhelmed. And ironically, no matter how busy the space is, they can feel really lonely when you don't know anybody there at all. Now, because I've been to so many and I work the room and I meet so many people, I never feel alone at these events because there will always be somebody that I bump into that I've met online or I've met at a previous event or we've worked together at some point in the past. So that now I have the confidence that I know at some point I'll meet somebody that I've met before. That gives me the confidence to go to the bigger events and not worry about it. But I didn't have that in the beginning. Like I said, it's baby steps. Choose an event that feels comfortable to you, that offers something that will add value to your business at where you are at the moment in time. This is a great point for me to talk about Elevate, the event that's coming up in December. And this event is all tailored to building that confidence and that visibility for your brand. So we're covering all different topics of public speaking, how to use advertising on Meta, becoming an author. There's so many different areas that we're covering, and it's all in one day with in a beautiful venue with a room full of 30 to 40 amazing, inspirational female founders. And that could be really what you're looking for at that point in your business right now. Then start at those sorts of events, because it will be an incredibly welcoming environment. You'd get to speak to everybody at the event. And what I also love with these types of events is you get to meet the expert speakers as well. So often they are just part of the crowd for the rest of the day. So you can ask those, intimate one-to-one questions, get those answers. So you walk away with everything you need to know for whatever area it is in your business that you're looking to work on. So that's it from me, guys. I hope you are, putting it into your strategy for the next 6 months, that you're going to start attending some events. Let me know what events that you're looking to attend. You never know, you might see me there. I would love to connect with you all in person at some of these events. And if you've got any queries or you feel any nervousness about attending any events, honestly, drop a line or connect with us all in the Female Founders Facebook group. If you're not there, come and join us in there. It's a hugely safe space. And 90% of the time, probably someone in that community is going to that same event. And you might be able to find a buddy in there that you can meet at the event to take the edge off those nerves. But for now, have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will catch up with you guys next week. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode, which was brought to you by Xero Accounting Software, a champion of female entrepreneurs and a proud sponsor of the Female Founders podcast. If you're running a small business and you're dreaming big, then Xero is here to help make those dreams a reality. Xero is all about supporting women like you, who are not just running businesses, but are also changing the game. So whether you're just starting out or you're scaling up, join a global community of female founders who trust Xero to manage their finances efficiently. Just visit refer.xero.com/female founders to learn more. But for now, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share this episode with all the incredible female founders you know. And together, let's change what it means to be a female founder in today's world.